OS/2, producing later versions in OS/23.0 and 4.0, also called Warp. Responding to complaints about OS/22.0's high demands on computer hardware, version 3.0 was significantly optimized both for speed and size. Before Windows 95 was released, OS/2 Warp 3.0 was even shipped pre-installed with several large German hardware vendor chains. However, with the release of Windows 95, OS/2 began to lose market share. It is probably impossible to choose one specific reason why OS/2 failed to gain much market share. While OS/2 continued to run Windows 3.1 applications, it lacked support for anything but the Win32s subset of Win32 API, see above. Unlike with Windows 3.1, IBM did not have access to the source code for Windows 95 and was unwilling to commit the time and resources to emulate the moving target of the Win32 API. IBM later introduced OS/2 into the United States v. Microsoft case, blaming unfair marketing tactics on Microsoft's part. Microsoft went on to release 5 different versions of Windows 95. Windows 95 original release. Windows 95 included Windows 95 OSR1 slipstreamed into the installation. Windows 95B, OSR2, included several major enhancements: Internet Explorer, IE 3.0 and full FAT32 file system support. Windows 95B USB, OSR2.1, included basic USB support. Windows 95C, OSR2.5, included all the above features, plus IE 4.0. This was the last 95 version produced. OSR2, OSR2.1, and OSR2.5 were not released to the general public. Rather, they were available only to OEMs that would preload the OS onto computers. Some companies sold new hard drives with OSR2 pre-installed, officially justifying this as needed due to the hard drive's capacity. The first Microsoft Plus add-on pack was sold for Windows 95. Microsoft ended extended support for Windows 95 on the 31st of December, 2001. Windows NT 4.0. Microsoft released the successor to NT 3.51, Windows NT 4.0, on the 24th of August, 1996. 1 year after the release of Windows 95. It was Microsoft's primary business-oriented operating system until the introduction of Windows 2000. Major new features included the new Explorer shell from Windows 95, scalability and feature improvements to the core architecture, kernel, User 32, COM and MSRPC.26. Windows NT 4.0 came in 5 versions: Windows NT 4.0 Workstation, Windows NT 4.0 Server, Windows NT 4.0 Server, Enterprise Edition, includes support for 8-way SMP and clustering. Windows NT 4.0 Terminal Server, Windows NT 4.0 Embedded. Microsoft ended mainstream support for Windows NT 4.0 Workstation on the 30th of June, 2002, and ended extended support on the 30th of June, 2004, while Windows NT 4.0 Server mainstream support ended on December 31, 2002, and extended support ended on the 31st of December, 2004. Both editions were succeeded by Windows 2000 Professional and the Windows 2000 Server family, respectively. 27, 28, 29. Microsoft ended mainstream support for Windows NT 4.0 Embedded on the 30th of June, 2003, and ended extended support on the 11th of July, 2006. This edition was succeeded by Windows XP Embedded. Windows 98. Windows 98 Desktop. On the 25th of June, 1998, Microsoft released Windows 98, codenamed Memphis, 3 years after the release of Windows 95, 2 years after the release of Windows NT 4.0, and 21 months before the release of Windows 2000. It included new hardware drivers and the FAT32 file system, which supports disk partitions that are larger than 2 GB, first introduced in Windows 95 OSR2. USB support in Windows 98 is marketed as a vast improvement over Windows 95. The release continued the controversial inclusion of the Internet Explorer browser with the operating system that started with Windows 95 OEM Service Release 1. The action eventually led to the filing of the United States Microsoft case, dealing with the question of whether Microsoft was introducing unfair practices into the market in an effort to eliminate competition from other companies such as Netscape. 30. In 1999, Microsoft released Windows 98 Second Edition, an interim release. One of the more notable new features was the addition of Internet connection sharing, a form of network address translation, allowing several machines on a LAN, local area network, to share a single Internet connection. Hardware support through device drivers was increased, and this version shipped with Internet Explorer 5. Many minor problems that existed in the first edition were fixed, making it, according to many, the most stable release of Windows 9X family. 31. Mainstream support for Windows 98 and 98 SE ended on the 30th of June, 2002. Extended support ended on July 11, 2006. Windows 2000. Windows 2000 Wordmark. Microsoft released Windows 2000 on the 17th of February, 2000, as the successor to Windows NT 4.0, 17 months after the release of Windows 98. It has the version number Windows NT 5.0, and it was Microsoft's business-oriented operating system, starting with official release on the 17th of February, 2000, until 2001, when it was succeeded by Windows XP. Windows 2000 has had 4 official service packs. It was successfully deployed both on the server and the workstation markets. Amongst Windows 2000's most significant new features was Active Directory, a near-complete replacement of the NT 4.0 Windows Server domain model, which built on industry-standard technologies like DNS, LDAP, and Kerberos to connect machines to one another. Terminal services, previously only available as a separate edition of NT4, was expanded to all server versions. A number of features from Windows 98 were incorporated also, such as an improved device manager, Windows Media Player, and a revised DirectX that made it possible for the first time for many modern games to work on the NT kernel. Windows 2000 is also the last NT kernel Windows operating system to lack product activation. While Windows 2000 upgrades were available for Windows 95 and Windows 98, it was not intended for home users. 32. Windows 2000 was available in 4 editions: Windows 2000 Professional, Windows 2000 Server, Windows 2000 Advanced Server, Windows 2000 Data Center Server. Microsoft ended support for both Windows 2000 and Windows XP Service Pack 2 on the 13th of July, 2010. Windows Me. Windows Me Desktop. On the 14th of September, 2000, Microsoft released a successor to Windows 98 called Windows Me, short for Millennium Edition. It was the last DOS-based operating system from Microsoft. Windows Me introduced a new multimedia editing application called Windows Movie Maker. came standard with Internet Explorer 5.5 and Windows Media Player 7, and debuted the first version of System Restore, a recovery utility that enables the operating system to revert system files back to a prior date and time. System Restore was a notable feature that would continue to thrive in all later versions of Windows. Windows Me was conceived as a quick one-year project that served as a stopgap release between Windows 98 and Windows XP. Many of the new features were available from the Windows Update site as updates for older Windows versions. System Restore and Windows Movie Maker were exceptions. Windows Me was criticized for stability issues, as well as for lacking real mode DOS support, to the point of being referred to as the Mistake Edition. 33. Windows Me was the last operating system to be based on the Windows 9X monolithic kernel and MS-DOS, with its successor Windows XP being based on Microsoft's Windows NT kernel instead. Windows XP, Server 2003 series and fundamentals for legacy IPs. On the 25th of October, 2001, Microsoft released Windows XP, codenamed Whistler. The merging of the Windows NT/2000 and Windows 95/98/Me lines was finally achieved with Windows XP. Windows X Plus is the Windows NT 5.1 kernel, marking the entrance of the Windows NT core to the consumer market to replace the aging Windows 9X branch. The initial release was met with considerable criticism, particularly in the area of security, leading to the release of 3 major service packs. Windows XP SP1 was released in September 2002, SP2 was released in August 2004 and SP3 was released in April 2008. Service Pack 2 provided significant improvements and encouraged widespread adoption of XP among both Windows XP desktop and business users. Windows XP was one of Microsoft's longest-running flagship operating systems, beginning with the public release on the 25th of October, 2001, for at least 5 years, and ending on the 30th of January, 2007, when it was succeeded by Windows Vista. Windows XP is available in a number of versions. Windows XP Home Edition, for home users. Windows XP Professional, for business and power users, contained a number of features not available in Home Edition. Windows XP N, like above editions, but without a default installation of Windows Media Player, as mandated by a European Union ruling. Windows XP Wordmark Windows XP Media Center Edition, MCE, released in October 2002 for desktops and notebooks with an emphasis on home entertainment. Contained all features offered in Windows XP Professional and the Windows Media Center. Subsequent versions are the same, both of an updated Windows Media Center. Windows XP Media Center Edition 2004, released on the 30th of September 2003. Windows XP Media Center Edition 2005, released on the 12th of October 2004. Included the Royale theme, support for Media Center extenders, themes and screensavers from Microsoft Plus for Windows XP. The ability to join an Active Directory domain I disabled. Windows XP Tablet PC Edition, for tablet packs. Windows XP Tablet PC Edition 2005. Windows XP Embedded, for embedded systems. Windows XP Starter Edition, for new computer users in developing countries. Windows XP Professional x64 Edition, released on the 25th of April, 2005, for home and workstation systems utilizing 64-bit processors based on the x86-64 instruction set originally developed by AMD as AMD 64. Intel calls their version Intel 64. Internally, XPX64 was a somewhat updated version of Windows based on the Server 2003 codebase. Windows XP 64-bit edition is a version for Intel's Itanium line of processors, maintains 32-bit compatibility solely through a software emulator. It is roughly analogous to Windows XP Professional in features. It was discontinued in September 2005 when the last vendor of Itanium workstations stopped shipping Itanium systems marketed.
Yes, take a break because it's 1 p.m. The video is just to split in a few minutes because it's getting dark. And this little discount supermarket have cheap discount cola on offers, like 5 Danish kroners each. So I will go and buy more than 20 of these cheap colas. They have some offer, this discount cola. That's, I don't know, 60 cents. I need to take because the line is not on here. So I'm going to change my clothes, and I have a bicycle trailer. I have an old mountain bike and an old bicycle trailer. Then I will go there. I have to go back and forward like 2 times. So I will put all the cola on the floor there. So let's not do that because it's 1 p.m. and it's getting dark in like 2 hours. So I will continue this after a break. I've just charged the camcorder. But maybe I should continue now to read about all the Windows version, like Windows 1, 2, 3, Windows 95. I should maybe do that. All this Windows version, that's from my lifetime, because I'm age 56. I was age 40 in year 2006. So I was adult. I was age 30 in 1996. So even when Windows 95 was out, I was close to age 30. So I remember all this 195 and Windows 98. I remember this. But that's many years ago. I did not have my old computers. I put in the garbage. I did not think about that to save it. Actually, when I moved to here, I had my old computers. I have it on a video on my YouTube channel. Many years. I have recorded video more than 8 years. So but I will do that, get this cheap cola, then I have cheap cola for the whole month, December. I can just lay here and read computer PDF the whole month.